Hey guys, welcome to the welding class. Today we're going to talk about the tools that are required for all your welding courses here. We're going to jump right in on PPE, which is personal protective equipment. The first thing under that is going to be our safety glasses. You want a good pair of clear safety glasses. These are going to keep stuff from getting in our eyes, especially the UV light. As we're welding through the shop, you walk through the shop, you don't want that light getting in your eyes. So a good pair of clear safety glasses, they have to be worn the whole time in the shop. Very important. Next thing is going to be our welding gloves. Now, there's two different style gloves depending on what type of welding we're doing. If we're doing stick welding, MIG welding, some of the hotter welding processes, we want a good thick stick or MIG glove. They have longer sleeves on them, good for welding. They're going to keep the heat off of us, also going to keep the sparks and the burns off of us. So you got to have a good pair of longer gloves. If you're doing a process like TIG, where we need to be able to manipulate a small wire, you're going to want a thinner pair of TIG gloves, or if we're doing some grinding or cutting, something like that. So you got two different style gloves depending on what class you're in. You need to determine which glove you need. You'll need both of them your whole time here at Drake. Next thing is going to be our welding jacket. Several different styles of jackets. Something simple like this would be my preference, but there's different styles. Just a simple welding jacket that's going to protect us from the UV light and from the sparks and the burns. We can wear sleeves over our t-shirt. We can wear a long sleeve shirt. We can wear a simple welding jacket like this or a heavier leather jacket. Completely up to you guys. That would be my preference. Not as hot, but that's up to you. Welding helmet. Obviously we can't weld without a welding helmet. Again, a lot of different styles of this. I get asked a lot which one I would pick. I would definitely get an auto darkening helmet. They have passive lens that stay dark all the time. They have fixed lens. That's up to you. I would definitely get an auto darkening helmet. It's different styles. Some will have different features, different comfort features. So that'd be up to you. I would suggest getting a good name brand helmet so we can get replacement parts for it. Your clear lenses are going to get dirty and get burned up as we're welding. So you want to have a good helmet that's going to last you and you can get replacement parts for it. So if you buy a helmet at Home Depot should sell the replacement lenses for it. If you buy a helmet at Sexton's, they're going to sell those lenses. If you buy something online, you never know where you're going to be able to get the parts for it at. So that would be my one suggestion with the welding helmet. Now, we have to dress appropriately in the welding shop. You want to wear, obviously got to wear pants, no torn or frayed clothing. Got to have some good work boots. They don't necessarily have to be steel-toed, but they need to be good leather work boots that can protect our feet from burns. No open-toed shoes, no tennis shoes at all. Next thing on PPE is going to be earplugs. Obviously, there's different types of earplugs. You can have disposable earplugs, reusable earplugs, earmuffs, whatever is more comfortable for you. But we want to protect our hearing when we're out there grinding. Things get pretty loud. We'll get several grinders going, so we make sure that we don't damage our hearing. Got to have earplugs. Next thing would be the respirator. Now we can have a full mask respirator. You can have an N95 respirator, disposable respirators, whatever you like. But we don't have those on while we're grinding. So whenever we grind material, there's a lot of dust in the air, and that stuff can be harmful for us if we breathe it in. You can also wear these respirators under your welding helmet while we're welding. Now all of our welding booths are well ventilated, but these respirators would help you out if you ever get on the job and you don't have that type of ventilation. So it's good to get comfortable wearing them now. That's going to be everything under the PPE. So we'll make sure we got to have all that stuff before we can get in the shop to keep us safe. The next thing on the tool list is going to be the actual hand tools that we need. And all this stuff's pretty simple, but we're going to go over and make sure everybody's comfortable with it. First thing is a chipping hammer. Chipping hammer is used to remove slag off of different processes like flux core and stick. You're going to need a chipping hammer if you're going to be a welder. Different styles of these, different types of handles, different type heads. Whatever's best for you, whatever you like the best, as long as it gets the job done. Next is going to be a wire brush. Again, there's different sizes, different styles. As long as it's a good steel wire brush, that's going to work for our classes here at Drake. We have adjustable pliers. A lot of times these are called channel locks because that's the name brand. But whatever brand you buy, you just want to have some good adjustable pliers we can carry hot metal with. You don't want to be carrying hot metal around with just our gloves. So this is a good way to transport metal. Every welder needs a pair of adjustable pliers on the toolbox. A striker for use to light oxy-fuel torches. Just has a basic piece of flint that rubs across a piece of metal and creates a spark. This is one of the cheapest items on the tool list, but nobody ever has one. Got to have a striker to light the torch up. You're not a welder without a striker. We will be doing a lot of oxy-fuel cutting in all these classes, so definitely want to have that. Now we have another pair of pliers. We call these welters because they're welder helpers. These are used for the wire processes like MIG or flux core. It can cut wire, and it has different things to it here that'll help us work on the MIG gun, taking those consumables out. Have a spot to take the nozzle off, take the contact tip out. Really good pair of pliers. We've got to be able to cut wire every time we make a weld, cut the bad spot off that wire. Got to have these in those classes. Half round file. Every welder needs a good file with them. The reason I suggest a half round file is whenever you go to file the inside of a pipe, that half round side will fit in there good and clean it up really good. When we go to prep up stuff, especially pipe, take a weld test, we want to be able to file it down and get it as close to perfect as we can. Adjustable wrench, again, sometimes we call these crescent wrenches because that's a name brand, but any brand you buy is good. You want about a 10-inch crescent wrench, adjustable wrench. That way we can take loose our regulators for our different shielding gases and welding gases. Like I said, we'll be using the oxy-fuel torch a lot. We'll have to change out those bottles as they empty. Same as when we're welding, we'll have different shielding gases for different processes. Got to change out those empty bottles and break loose the regulators. Adjustable wrench is the way to go because there's different size fittings. We can just adjust it down to whatever fitting, make it work. I would suggest about a 10-inch. If you want to get an 8-inch or 12-inch, whatever's fine. The 10-inch fits our bottle is really good, so that would be my suggestion. Tape measure. Want a good tape measure, one that you're comfortable reading. There's all different style tape measures. Some of them have different, they have the marks on there. Some of them called the cheater lenses. But whatever you want to use for that, different sizes. We're going to be cutting 20-foot stock here, so I would get at least a 25-foot tape measure. That way, if you have to mark out a whole 20-foot stock, but that's up to you. Whatever brand you buy, get you a good tape measure that you're comfortable reading. Got to be able to read a tape measure as a welder. Then we have the speed square. Speed square, new to our tool list. Simple tool that we can use to make good straight lines whenever we're cutting out material. Definitely want to have a speed square. We'll be using it all the time in the welding shop. Now we have some additional items, paint markers and soapstone. Soapstone can ride on steel. Every welder is going to use soapstone. Paint markers can ride on different material. Aluminum, stainless, steel, plastic, wood, a lot of different stuff. Both these items are super inexpensive, but everybody's always asking to borrow some. Make sure you have several paint markers, several sticks of soapstone with you so you can mark out material, lay out welds, whatever we need to do to get our projects done. Grinders. Used to, we provided grinders for you, but as welders, you need your own grinder. So here at Drake, you've got to buy your own grinder. Different sizes of these. I would suggest a grinder like this, which is a 4-inch grinder. It's going to do everything we need to do here at Drake. Now, if you wanted to step up by a 7-inch or a 9-inch grinder, a bigger version, that's completely up to you, whatever you prefer. But this will get the job done here at Drake. Now, buy whatever brand you prefer. But if you buy a grinder, very important that we buy the correct size disc to go with it. So this has a 4-inch grinder, so it uses a 4-inch disc, and the arbor size, which is this hole right here, has to match the arbor on your grinder. So just pay attention to those. For example, this is a 4-inch disc, has a 7/8-inch arbor size to it, and it fits this particular grinder. Now we have several different grinding stones here. We have the basic stone grinding rock, that we call it, grinding disc, used to remove metal. Going to use that every day here at Drake. We have a thinner disc, which is known as a cutting disc. It's thinner than that grinding disc. We can use that to feather our tacks or actually cut material with it. You want to have one of those in your box. We have a buffing disc. This is basically sandpaper stacked onto a grinding pad, and so it's used to remove material and puts a really good finish. When we go to do weld tests, we want to prep our material really well to pass a weld test. This is going to put a really good finish on it. I suggest one of those in your box as well. We have two different style wire wheels. We have the cup style wire wheel for removing rust and stuff off material, and then we have the regular style wire wheel. These are super handy whenever we're taking those weld tests, especially on groove plates or groove pipe. It can remove slag and debris from inside the weld joint. So I always keep one of these, especially when I'm taking a weld test. So I would suggest you have one of those in your box as well. Gotta have a grinder here at Drake. Now, we have lockers here. You're welcome to bring on your own toolbox or tool bag, but if you want to use one of our lockers, you have to provide a lock for it so people don't get to your stuff. So make sure you get a lock, or if you have a toolbox, you might want to lock it up if you're going to leave it here as well. that's up to you. Last thing, if you're in a GTAW TIG class, you will have to buy the consumables for that. The reason why, there's so many different types of consumables depending on what we're doing with that process. So the basics of those, gotta have tungsten, your non-consumable electrode that we're gonna be using. There's different types of tungsten, depending on what class you're in, you'll get the gist on what tungsten we need. We have a tail cap, again we have different style caps, different style torches, depending on what process of it you're doing, depends on which one you get. We have the collet body, and we have the collet that holds our tungsten inside the torch there. Again, different styles for the different torches we have, depending on what we're doing. And then finally, cups. We gotta have cups to fit the different style collet bodies, and there's different size cups. So depending on what type of joint we're welding, depends on what type of cup we might want. And guys, that's it for the tools. That's just a basic overview of what tools we're gonna need for this class, all your courses here at Drake. All right, we'll see you guys later.